Oops, I did it again. Sorry, guys, couldn't help myself, but I had to share another great moment with you. I found this amazing place, at a really quiet lake here, and we have all these wonderful ducks that are my company now. And I don't know if you can tell them. Yeah, there he goes, looking for food on the bottom. And of course, they've checked me out and wondered if I had anything for them, which I didn't, but I still enjoy them being around. I don't know, it's just, there's nothing better than just lying on the water, on the surface, in an inflatable kayak, and see the wind is transporting me now, so I don't even have to paddle. It's just taking me around this place, and it's lovely. So this is the perfect place to regain some inspiration for playing guitar, or regain some inspiration for life in general. Yeah, I can't stress that enough. You can go out and get some fresh air, get some nature, and if you're living in the northern part of the world, or especially in cold Scandinavia, then I probably don't need to tell you it's a good idea to go out if you happen to catch the sun shining. New, what's up, my man? How you doing? Good to see you. It's always cool when you can catch some new people here going live. I know there's a lot of you guys following and commenting, but since I'm really spontaneous with these live streams, it can be hard to catch you live, but we did it, New. So tell me how you're doing. In Vietnam, that's awesome. So I'm guessing you might be fleeing from the sun instead, not like us Swedish people who are just enjoying every second of sun. Of course, I'm happy to be half Greek, so I can actually be in the sun without, getting skin cancer or something. So that makes it even more enjoyable for me. Yeah, I just have to show you this lovely. Check it out. Here's what I'm seeing. I love it. And if you stare long enough, you can find fish under these. I don't know what they're called in English. In French is nénuphar, so nénuphars, maybe, I don't know. Näckrosor in Swedish, and that's a duck. It's not a sitting duck, it's a swimming duck. And there are two more. Oh, even more. Gotta film them ducks. Well, looking at this content, you wouldn't believe this is a guitar channel. Hey, duck. Hey, duck. Come on, duck. Hey, you want to taste my finger? I needed to play guitar, so be gentle with it. Ducky, ducky. Oh, yes, ducky, ducky wants to taste my finger. I actually did this once. I gave them the finger, not in the, figurative sense. and they bit me. Fortunately, those ducks don't have a lot of teeth, so I made it out alive. But I'm not doing it again, that's all I can say. Surya, what's up, my man? Good to have you here. So yeah, I was out someday, and I got visited by a super social duck. Really wanted to get up close, and I didn't have any food for the duck, so I just ended up, showing it my finger, and I think, well, how bad can it be? And then it decided to taste my finger. But again, duck teeth are not that bad, as you can imagine, so I survived. Surya, are you playing guitar now? Well, I'm definitely not. In fact, you wouldn't even believe this is a guitar channel looking at this content. But hey, we gotta connect as well. And let's face it, even as guitarists, we don't play guitar all the time. In fact, sometimes it's really the breaks that can give a boost in your playing. So if you don't give yourself enough breaks and things like that, and you're wondering why you're not inspired, then you might have the answer there. If you only work or study and then hurry back home and then practice and then go to bed and then wake up and do the same thing, then you can find that it's a little bit hard to really get a feeling when you're sitting there and playing. I find that for me at least, variation is key. Of course, I've had extended periods of time when I've been practicing with a heavy or super intense routine, and that worked. But it's still, I think at most I had like a consistent routine for a couple of weeks, and then I would aggressively change the routine just to get some variation. And I've always been very careful with different kind of breaks and pauses where I do other things. Cool, Sonja. So you're sleeping. Yes, I did. Did I wake you up then? Do you have like an alarm set? When Chris goes live, gotta wake up. But anyhow, so yeah. What was I saying? Yeah, it's for me. I mean, this is pretty individual, but for me, it's super important to have a routine that allows for variation. And in fact, I'd like to say that in recent years, I've probably taken this to the extreme in the sense that I really hate having a routine. The only routine I have as far as guitar playing goes is to make sure I have a strategy to be inspired. So that means to never kind of sit down and practice without having some kind of idea of what you're going to do and being inspired. And sometimes, it's super easy. You just have to, scroll your feed or check some of your heroes albums, or if you have one of those old instructional videos from back in the 80s or something, that can be super effective. And sometimes you just need 10 or 15 minutes of that and you're good to go. You can practice for hours. But my point is that if I don't feel like practicing, I'm not going to sit down and practice, That's the main thing. Instead, if I really feel that I need to practice anyway, then I will actively search for inspiration before I sit down and practice. Ron, my guitar. I was that close to bringing my guitar, but I thought, nah, what the heck? I'm playing all day long anyway. Now it's time for relaxing. And it kind of goes back to, exactly what I was just saying about relaxing there. But if I were to go outside for a longer time, so maybe for like, bring a tent with me or something, then I might just bring a guitar as well, especially if I were out a few days. Isabel, awesome to see you. I am enjoying myself. If I were out for a few days, then I think it would be awesome to bring a guitar and I could have these long live streams with you guys, and I'd have hopefully nothing to interrupt me there, just sitting in my tent. That could be pretty fun. But I have to find the time for that as well. Not easy. Ron, I am enjoying myself. Thanks. No, so I mean, that's super individual what works for you in terms of being inspired. But one thing we can agree upon is that just practicing all day long or practicing every day is not that hard. The hard part is to be inspired to practice every day. And if you can find the inspiration, you're going to find practicing is easy. So that's why whenever a student of mine is experiencing some bad times and feeling lack of inspiration and lack of progress, I often like to remind them of this fact that sometimes the solution is not to learn another scale or another arpeggio. The solution is to look elsewhere, and then go back to what you're doing. Maybe there's nothing wrong with your routine. It's just that you need a break from your routine, that kind of thing. Ron, I'm not fishing. I'm just resting in my kayak. In my kayak, I think is how you pronounce it in English. Or resting. I'm not even resting. I'm speaking with you guys. But I have an inflatable kayak. Kayak, man, that's a hard word. And I don't know, it's totally superior. If you haven't tried an inflatable kayak, then do it. Because it's like a sleeping mattress. As well as being a kayak. And you don't get that from many other types of boats. Joji. So you're practicing not to practice now. Good point, good point. Well, as you can tell, I'm definitely not practicing. So yeah, you could say that. I'm practicing, not practicing. In fact, I can't help it, but you know, when I go out like this, it's just guitar stuff spinning in my head all the time, and I, you know, keep pushing these updates out to you guys. And right now, I have half of my brain is thinking about what to record next. The other half is telling, you know, the whole brain to relax, take it easy. You're outside, you're in the sun. Just think of something else these hours. And then I have the other half of the brain is doing the exact opposite. It's like, okay, I gotta plan the next thing. Okay, that's gotta be the backing. I want to try that kind of thing, and you know, I want that type of sound. I'm gonna use that guitar, and here's how I'm gonna record it. So that's, I guess, a bit of what you get from being a bit, I don't know, workaholic maybe. I don't know. For me, last 20 years, I haven't seen any type of difference between my work and my my hobby, or my, you know, it's just guitar all the time, and that's the way I like it. No, I'm not hunting. I'm hunting for a good time. I will, Ron. Thanks for stopping by, man. Good to see you. Oh, wait, I have a friend here. These guys, they're here to check you out, and they're hoping I have something edible. Goody, goody. Goody, 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 birdie, birdie. Ducky, ducky. Here, maybe we can... Come on. You know, they wouldn't go quite as close to me if obviously they weren't being fed here, and if they weren't expecting that maybe I have something for them, which I don't. They're well fed and it's summer. Plus, people give these birds bread, which is absolutely horrendous. They suffer as much from bread as we humans do. Should never feed them with bread. But if you have like bird food consisting of nuts and stuff like that, that can work. Anyhow, that's just a parenthesis. So what was I speaking about? Oh yes. So yeah, I mean, there's a bit of a danger with not having any difference or any clear separation between your hobbies and your work, and some people really suffer from that. And you know, I've also had that issue because when I was younger, I didn't really know what I wanted to work with. I had two interests in life. One was fishing and, you know, outdoors, being outdoors, and the other one was music and guitar.
Yeah, when they came over.
And I knew that that's what I wanted to do, right? I didn't really let the pressure from parents and society to get a normal education. I didn't let that affect me too much. Maybe I should have, I don't know. So I was first exploring the fishing and outdoors route. Because like I said, I had these two big hobbies, and I wanted to do, you know, for a living, something that I knew I would enjoy. So I actually studied like angling and tourism related to angling for 2 years. That was a kind of special type of education, which I'm not sure I would recommend, but it was fun because you got to be outside and do a lot of angling and stuff like that. And the good thing with that education was not that I learned anything from it, but rather that I understood that I didn't want to kill my hobby. I wanted to keep, you know, the angling and being outdoors. I wanted to keep that as a hobby. So I, after those 2 years, I decided that if I were gonna turn my hobby into a profession, it wouldn't be the fishing part or the outdoors part. It would rather be the music and the guitar part. So that's when I came back from that, from those 2 years, I was very focused to start working with the guitar instead. Of course, I had been practicing all the time. I didn't stop practicing, but I hadn't really made up my mind which one to go for. And in fact, I think prior to going to that 2-year education, I had done different attempts to enter some types of music school, but that didn't work out. I guess I was too crappy or something. So I think in a way I felt I had exhausted that. But yeah, I came back after 2 years and I tried again. And that's when it worked as well. I started with a fusion band, and then I started doing stuff online, and gradually things started, how do you say, progressing or rolling. And I think some of you might even know me from back in the days. That's when I started the site freelix.net. So I don't know if there's anybody here who remembers that, the freelix.net domain. I know it sounds like a porn site, but I can assure you it was not. Maybe like a guitar porn site, but not even that. Or maybe it was, because back in the day, this was like in 2005, there was absolutely no good guitar content on the web, or almost none. There were some text-based tabs, and all these shredders had like their personal home pages. And you could maybe, if you were lucky, like download an MP3 or something, but you rarely had any like cool licks or cool tabs or anything like that. So I did all like instructional content, and people loved it, because the site wasn't really about myself. It was more about, you know, producing content that people would actually use. So yeah, that's how it started with the freelix.net site. And then that kind of evolved into the guitarmasterclass.net website, which I still run up to this day. I don't know. Yeah, so that's just how I came to realize I'd rather work with guitar related stuff. And like I said, I have been doing that for like, I don't know, 20 or 15 years. And even when I go out kayaking like this, I constantly have those work thoughts spinning in my head. There's really no way around it. And I am fine with it. You know, you got to be a little bit careful with it, but yeah. Joji is saying, Steve I, do fasting for a month or so when writing a new album. I don't know if he's still doing it, but the idea is to free yourself from your conscious mind to become creative. Oh yeah, that sounds like a Steve I thing. Why not? It's you know, it's scary how you know, the general input you get from life, or just physically the input in terms of food, can affect your ability to be creative. So I would definitely think that it's there's something to it, you know, that Steve Vai strategy. I can only take an example of my own. I had like 2 years ago, I used to record these short videos which were all improvised. And they had this huge exposure on Instagram. And just to record like a short improvised clip, that would actually take me more time than to write something and practice it. Not because I had to practice, but because I had to get into the mood. I had a feeling of what I wanted to do, but when I sat down and played it, there was something stressing me, something which wasn't right. So I would play a little bit, record a little bit, take a break, go outside, record a little bit, do this, that kind of thing for several hours. And then all of a sudden, my mindset would be right, and I would just record it, the whole thing. And it was improvised. I didn't know what I was going to do. I only knew the type of feeling I wanted and the type of sound on the guitar. Those videos worked incredibly well. You know, I still, some of those videos had like 4 or 5 million views. But then, unfortunately, my family schedule changed to the point that I could only get like like a 4 or 5 hours of non-interrupted time. So I had to stop doing that. And it's still up to this day, I can't really be sure to get the whole day. So as soon as that gets better, I think I'm going to go back to doing more of those videos. But right now I can't, so it's more of a planned thing. I have to write something and I have to practice it. I get 4 hours to write it, and then I get a few hours to practice it. And that's split up in 2 or 3 days. I just don't have a way around that right now, but hopefully I'll get back to it. But when I did that, it's really struck me how true it is that it's your mindset that kind of affects the quality of your music. So just to not be stressed out, kind of being like a state of meditation, you know, yoga and all that stuff. I know nothing about that, but I think there's something to it. And I could really notice that as far as my own recording goes. Let's see here. Juan de Chile, what's up? ¿Cómo está? How many years have you been playing guitar? Cool question, Nguyen. In Nguyen, I'm probably butchering your name, but that's okay because I'm Swedish. So I've been playing for well over 20 years now, I think. Yeah. It's crazy how time goes by fast, you know. The bigger question is how many years of playing do I have left? Oh man, I'm so scared of death. Just kidding. But I'm not kidding. I'm scared of death, but I'm just... That's not the topic of the live stream. So yeah, 20 years. I don't know if it's that relevant, you know, because during those 20 years I had so many different type of playing periods, and if you just look at specifically some of the stuff I play today, you probably wouldn't have needed 20 years for that. But I do play a lot of different styles, and I've always loved exploring things that were outside of my comfort zone. And for that, I think I've needed those 20 years and more. And my goal has always been to have my style be some kind of medley of lots of different influences and ideas. Oh, is the wind killing the sound now? Do let me know if you can hear me play, or hear me speak. So yeah, well over 20 years. Oh, it's complaining about my connection. Come on, connection, you can do it. So yeah, 20 years of playing. I think I'm going to show you a little bit of the landscape here. I would be lying if I said I was completely alone. I'm not. There's some swimmers here and some people walking by, and you know, just a few minutes before I started the stream, there were 2 dogs that had some improvised barking session. So, but right now it's pretty enjoyable, and I guess the wind is killing some of the background noise. Hello there. But it's a lovely day, lovely sun. Let's see if we can turn this thing around. Yeah, so there you have it, some of my spontaneous thoughts about life and practice in general. I'm very happy to be able to just connect with you guys this easily, just hitting the live stream button, and I'll find you here, and it's awesome. Keep being awesome, you rock, and keep practicing because you rock. Let's rock together. So I'm gonna end this session now, but it's been awesome to have you guys. And yeah, we have to end with some words of wisdom from Joji. He says, nobody dies, we only change old body to new body at death. Ooh, I like it, I like it. You probably continue playing next life. Feels good, feels good. Wonder which body I'm gonna get. Got me instantly curious. No, that's a good saying, Joji. I like it a lot. Cool, guys. So it's been amazing, and I hope you guys keep enjoying the content I'm producing. I'm right now I'm throwing in a healthy mix of shorter inspirational stuff with tabs and just short tips that hopefully keep you inspired throughout the day. But I've also started doing these longer videos, and I really like them. I was always very worried and concerned about you know, the amount of views and things like that. But right now I've understood that views really doesn't matter, because these long videos, this is where we get to connect, and this is where we get to speak to each other, and that's really what matters in the end. How many people attended has kind of zero importance in regards to that. So what really matters is that you're here right now, and I'm here, and that's awesome, and we can speak. You know, that's, I can't think of a better way to use the internet. It's funny, it took us 20 years of internet before we realized that the live streaming and actually connecting this way is really the way to go. So this is a lot of fun, and I hope you guys enjoy sticking around these streams. And Jay is watching from the Philippines. That's awesome, man. So I guess you're not that impressed by the heat and the sun, but you might be impressed by the view, I guess. Not really, but I'm guessing your nature does look a little bit different from
the one here in Stockholm, Sweden. Cool, guys. So have a